Hey, all right. One more for today. Then, my God, I got to start figuring out my taxes for the year. Oh my gosh, yes. What, April 15th? Ain't that far away. And I got to get this stuff all out to the accountant. Oh, but I told myself I'd do two videos before I got started, and then that's it. Okay. So, uh, I thought, I just did a video from my book, Aunt Barb's Magic Oven. In it, I describe in the book, how I got my air name, Doc South. A lot of people ask that question. It's not, typically a name that most people would use, Doc South. Darn few people are named that way. Oddly enough, there are a few. But it's I've never met anyone. I've just heard of them or seen them on Facebook, etc. Uh, but yeah, it's how I got my name. It's I guess reasonably interesting. So I'll read to you from my first book, The Book of Doc Blurps the Starter Set, and as near as I know, this is about as true as it could be. Now, like I said, I did explain in a chapter. An angel named Gabe gave me the name. And you never know. That could have been how it happened. I just didn't know that's how it happened. Because I got to tell you, the I was surprised I came up with such a name as Doc South. When you're trying to give yourself an air name, it's Whoopi John the Boogie Master, or all this kind. Yeah, actually, there's a guy named Whoopi John. Now that I think about it, he does polkas. Yeah, I think, and you get the idea. So it's hard to come up with something original. Okay. So anyway, so here it is. How did I get my name? When I first started in radio, and I'm reading now, yeah. When I first started on the radio, I just used my real name. It didn't matter. It didn't seem to matter what I called myself. The name my folks gave me was okay by me. Yeah, they worked hard trying to figure out that name. Wilson, North Carolina was a pretty big city. That's where I got started in radio. And honestly, I thought it might be great if people I ran into would, once they heard my name, get all starstruck and say things like, "Oh, hey, you're that guy on the radio. We love your show." I kept thinking it would be cool to be stopped at the Parkwood Mall on a Saturday morning to sign autographs. I always kept a fresh pen handy. I didn't want to run out of ink, what with those long lines. Um, yeah. A fellow fellow named Uncle Sam, I believe, warned me that it might be a good idea to not use my real name. In fact, I remember saying to Uncle, "Well, isn't Uncle Sam your real name?" He says, "Heck no." He said how he once used his real name on air. One day he came home. He used to use it. Yeah. One day he came home to find his place was robbed. The crooks heard his name, looked up his address, and enjoyed his live show on his home radio as they cleaned the place out. Took all his stuff. At least they didn't take the radio, and it was still running and tuned to his station, the station he worked on. I played and loved oldies for my show. I figured that, gosh, everyone else would love them too. God, I love oldies. Imagine my shock when listeners would call in saying the music stunk. Some fans could get really mad about my talking about a sponsor that maybe they felt gypped them. Of course, there's always the listeners who would take exception to some comment I made on a song I played. Heck, one fan even called up one night and ordered me to quit playing that black music. Though he used another word for black, which of course I won't use, but you get so I told him to get lost and hung up on him. But then I got to thinking, it kind of bothered me that this idiot and his friend with the hoods might come might be able to find my home. Of course, there were people calling with good intentions and wonderful comments too. Some would call me at home after matching my name with a phone number. There were there were folks who had records to sell. Some had parties that needed a DJ. Some fans just wanted to talk and talk and talk. Some calls were just great. Still, I got to thinking it might be a very good idea to lose my real name. I had to come up with something else. By the time I realized I needed an air name, I was back in Jersey. with the help of a dear friend, I got a show on a local college station. Before I did any work for them, I figured it might be a very good idea to come up with some other kind of name for myself. And all I can say is it's hard to find an air name. Yeah, come up with an air name. It's try it. Try it yourself. Yeah, I must have gone through at least a few dozen names. It was easier to come up with names for my kids. It's at least I had help. Yeah, I had the wife. Right. Pets are no problem. But to come up with an air name, wow, man, that's a chore. Eventually, after a day or so, and heaven knows why, I decided on Doc South. I used Doc, I figured, because I was once a rescue person and devoted to helping people. I reasoned that DJs make people feel better too. In fact, if there were more people laughing and smiling and enjoying radio, well, there'd be less need for EMTs, paramedics, and such. I reason. I decided on South because I got my start in the South, and rock and roll also started in the South, as far as I'm concerned. And I also loved my time when I lived in the South, those 3 or 4 years. So there it was. My name was to be Doc South from that point on. At first, I didn't really like the name, but I couldn't think of anything else. So what are you going to do? That means I must have had the perfect name. No sense losing the name now. I've had it for, oh gosh, since 1981. What's that? I wrote it down before. It's a long time. I think something like, 37 years now. Yeah. So, and I guess that's, yes, that's it. But that's how the story, how the name came to be, for what it's worth. I know as far as making people feel better, I think that's my goal. I certainly haven't gotten rich doing any of this. In fact, probably more poor than rich, but rich in other ways. And I feel honored to have, one way or another, either on small local stations or college stations or now on a webcasting thing. It's been it's been an honor. It's been an honor. Let me think. I wanted to mention, please don't forget, I have a YouTube site. Well, some of you are watching this on YouTube, and for you, I should mention I have a Facebook page. Okay. Doc South on Facebook. And also you can, my web station, features music from the 20s through the 70s and spoken word segments also. You just go to my website, www.docsouthshow.com, and you'll see a link to the station. It's pretty obvious. There's a link to my GoFundMe page. I swear I can use donations. It costs way more than I should be spending to operate the station. And also extra money goes towards printing books, etc. And so there you are. And you can usually catch my stories if you don't have the money for a book. You can go to Facebook, and many of the stories are there. People say I'm foolish to stick them there, but no, that's how it's going to be. And I figure people will on occasion buy a book, and that'll help. So. All right, so there you go. Other than that, have a good day. It's Doc South signing off. We'll see you later. Bye now.